Hello, my name is Beatrice and I'm one of the fashion curators here at the Museum of London, and I am super delighted to welcome you to another installment of London's fashion alphabet. And today we're going to talk about I, and I stands for ice skates. Here in London it has turned very much autumnal, so our thoughts have gone to the sort of colder periods of the year, and we thought we'd talk about something that might make winter really fun. Ice skating has been something that was really popular for a long time in London. So we even have some polished bones from the Middle Ages that show that people were skating on the lakes or on frozen moors very, very early on. And then in the 19th century, people started to experiment with artificial ice rinks. And the first water-based one opened in 1876 in Chelsea. And it had this lovely name. It was called a glaciarium. But these ice skates are not that old. They were actually given to someone called Christina Greenberry in 1937 or 1938. She was a civil servant and she worked for the Ministry of Agriculture in London. And she lived in West London. And her immediate superior, or manager as we would now say, took her to the Streatham ice rink. So between the wars, skating was a big thing in London. And a few years ago, we put Christina's skates on display, and we made this map for it that shows some of the ice skating rinks you had between the wars. So Christina, she was going to Streatham Ice Arena, which opened in 1931. But even earlier opened the London Ice Club, which was very near what is now Tate Britain. And that was a very swish affair. So at the London Ice Club, you would have had an American bar, you would have had dining rooms, meeting rooms, you even had changing rooms with a bath. So that was an indoor ice rink, quite exclusive. So a few years ago when we put these on display, I wrote to Christina, and she would have been in her late 90s at that point. But she wrote back to me and she answered some of my questions. So one of my questions was, why did you like skating? What did you like about it? And she said she loved the freedom that it seemed to give. And she also said that she wanted it to be a dance and she wanted to learn how to dance on ice. These were given to her by her boyfriend, and he lived in Bootle near Liverpool in Lancashire. And if you look closely, you can sort of see the maker. And it says James Howarth and Son, Sheffield. So they're made of the sort of very well-known, good quality Sheffield steel. And James Howarth, they had this sideline in making blades for ice skates. And Christina loved her skates so much, she remembered that once she fell and she hurt her leg, and she didn't mind her leg bleeding, but she really, really didn't want any blood to get onto her skates. She never really learned to skate really as well as she would have liked because the war came. And in 1940, she was evacuated to the north because she did really important work at the Ministry of Agriculture and she had to work up there. Her boyfriend signed up for the army. She never heard from him again after 1940. And a lot of the ice rinks in London closed during the war. But Streatham Ice Rink reopened in 1946 and you can still go skating there. It's not quite the same building, it's a new building. But if you want to see what it was like in the 1930s, there's a film called The Car of Dreams from 1935. And that shows a carnival at the ice rink. So they used to do these fancy dress carnivals where people would dress up and then go skating in fancy dress. So you can have a look at that. Thank you very much for watching this installment of the London Fashion Alphabet, and please make sure to tune in next time for J.